Welcome to the September 20th, 2021 regular business board meeting of the Lower Merion Board of School Directors. We are asking that those attending tonight's meeting in person to please wear a mask. Your mask should remain on when giving public comment at the podium as well. The board believes it's in the best interest of the board and the students of the district to hear comments from district residents. An opportunity will be given for public comment in person and through the chat feature, which will be read by our solicitor. This meeting is being video recorded with sound for public broadcast. All participants joining via Zoom will be muted upon entry. So before we begin our official meeting tonight, I wanted to welcome our two new student representatives to the board. Eli Feldman, who is a senior at Harriton High School, and Emmy Wu, a junior at Lower Merion High School. Earlier in 2021, the board updated Board Policy 002 to include a student voice on the school board. Although they are not technically voting members, we are excited to provide a means for students to offer insight on the board work from a student perspective. And I speak on behalf of the board when I say that we're thrilled to have you at the table with us and encourage you to share your thoughts, ideas, and concerns during our meetings. So now I'm going to turn it over to the superintendent.
Thank you, Mrs. Klein. I too welcome your voices and look forward to hearing maybe some updates on how the school opening was really, really good this year. But before, my report really consists of production put together by Amy Buckman and her group at Community Development around the opening of school. So without further ado, I think Mr. Purvix is going to share that. Very, very nice. I was putting together a presentation that I'm going to be giving at the Ardmore Rotary on sort of an update for the school, and I put a chronology together of what happened beginning in around January 2020 till today. Outside of the PTSD that I acquired reading the communications that went out and some of the things that went on, clearly seeing the faces of our students, both at the board table and as they entered school this year, while they were still masked, they were healthy, they came back, and they're ready to learn. And so that's how we're going to begin the school year, and I'm sure that's how we'll end. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Copeland. Now I think we'll move on to our committee meeting reports. I'm excited to ask our new student representatives to each do a report about your high schools.
Hi. Was that loud?
No, you're good.
Hi, I'm Emmy Wu. I'm a junior at Lower Marion High School. I would say in regards to COVID, everything has been pretty safe. Contact tracing seems to be working just from my conversations with a few individuals. I think the outdoor tents and the extra seating is a nice touch, especially during lunch and like during freeze. We had our activities fair last week, and it was really exciting just to see a lot of the clubs that I'm involved with starting back up again. Our player show is starting, and we have our student council full body meeting soon, and TSA season is starting, and the Mary Knight is working on their new issue for October. Something that, sorry. I also heard that athletes and Lower Marion players were starting weekly testing again, which I'm glad to hear about. I think it would be really good just so that they could be more involved and know that they're practicing safe protocols for COVID. And the most exciting part is that Lunch and Learn is starting tomorrow. So I think a lot of clubs will start to be active again because that's when, most meetings happen. It'll also allow more free time for students and just a nice break from, school. And so I'll pass it to Eli.
Thanks. We did work in collaboration when coming up with these points, so they may sound a bit similar. So at Harridan, COVID is also still a thing. And of course it is being taken very seriously, which all of the students definitely appreciate. And in terms of the student body, masking is still, for the vast majority of students, going well, and they're masking correctly. And, student sentiment, I think, just because it's been going on for such a long time, everyone can feel tired at points, but the general body is still, behind it, and everyone is trying to encourage each other to keep that up, which is really great to see. And a great sign of, the progress and the work that the student body has put in is that Lunch and Learn, like at LM, is coming back to Harridan tomorrow, which has really, really gotten the students excited. Although at Harridan, I'm not sure if it's the same at LM, it's only for the juniors and seniors starting up right now. The freshmen and sophomores, we were told, are likely going to get the opportunity at the end of the first marking period to join in this great aspect of Harridan, which is interesting. And when thinking about it, it's actually not too bad for them because, as harsh as this sounds, they don't know what they're missing. And of course, if they took Lunch and Learn away from juniors and seniors, it would be a different story, but for the safety of the whole school, it seems like a pretty good solution. In terms of activities like LM, we had a very successful RAM Day, which is where students can sign up for clubs and they can go around to all the different stands. Unfortunately, no candy could be given out as a recruiting tool this year. It was tough running some of the stands myself, but we got through it. And being able to meet with clubs in person this year is really also something that has gotten students excited. That was something that a lot of students, of course, are very involved in at Harridan, and the fact that they weren't able to have that last year put a damper on everything, but everyone is glad that it's back. In terms of athletics, getting into full swing with the fall season. Players are getting tested regularly, which, is great. And this, I think, has been really the focal point for the student community so far at Harridan because, of course, last year weren't allowed to come support their friends, see them, and now that they're back in the stands cheering for the school, the student turnout to many of the games is definitely increased and noticeably, and you can see that. And I really do attribute that to people not being able to do that for such a long time, feeling like they missed it, and wanting to get back out there. And I believe that students see that as part of a normal high school experience, which of course they haven't been able to have a lot of this year, or in the past year I should say, which is why I believe they're really taking advantage of it. A good example of that would be the Harridan LM game. We don't have to discuss it right now. We can definitely table that for another time. Don't have to get into it. But luckily, we'll be able to see that once again Thursday as Harridan takes on LM in boys soccer at Harridan. And I've heard that it's going to be well attended from both sides. So it'll be a nice spirited competition, which will continue the school's easing back into normalcy, which is greatly appreciated from the student body. And that's all that I have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, Mr. Moring, if you want to do the report of the September 9th Curriculum Committee meeting.
Thank you. So I'll just touch on it very briefly in terms of the topic. We covered the special education audit and multi-tiered systems of support presentation by Dr. Christina Paul and Celia Dodge of Improve and West Ed, who combined for that report, and also had a presentation by Becky Millspaw of the MICU. But I will encourage folks to take the opportunity to review the presentation, because it is saved on the website, because it was also presented at the Education Committee meeting, which is recorded and available for download, because it's a very in-depth presentation and audit, as well as there are the research report is available online, as well as the related documents to the audit are available on the website. But again, it is a very extensive report, and I think it's really a very important report and presentation that is available for viewing on the website.
Thank you, Mr. Moring. Next, Ms. Ackman, if you can give the committee report from the September 10th policy meeting.
Yes. Also briefly, the focus last year was updating employment policies, and that's continuing. And we talked about how really now that they're mostly updated, making the whole bundle of policies more accessible and easier to find for everyone, the community, employees, whoever. Especially there's some policies in here that, come up a lot. So that's been a lot of the focus. Then we are going to turn to kind of some of the student policies. But just to move quickly for policy 235, it's the largest student policy, and we are going to explore that this year, but immediately wanted to embed restorative practices in there and then do a larger overhaul. And part of that is about getting the buildings more involved in the process of restorative practices when it comes to student conduct. Again, all of this is through our new equity lens, which is that is included as part of our materials that we discuss when we have the policy meetings. Some things have been repealed because they're outdated, or there have been policy updates coming from Harrisburg. I just also wanted to highlight there's a goal to make attendance area exceptions much more accessible and involve building teams. The process right now doesn't really involve the buildings as much, and so that's something we're reforming, so it's not just kind of around. The discussion happens with the people who are actually interacting with the students, not just kind of in the administration. And we also talked about, at the next meeting, there's been a number of policies referred to the Strategic Plan Committee for review. None of those have risen back to kind of the policy committee yet. But, and we did briefly talk about this, but we thought we should have a formal update at the next meeting just to review some of these things like the homework policy, class rank, and some other issues. And I think that's pretty much it for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ackman. Mr. Lee, if you could please give an update from the September 17th Facilities and Purchasing Committee meeting.
The following items were reviewed and recommended for approval by the committee at tonight's board meeting. We recommended the list of district bills for approval. We recommended the following items from the purchasing report for approval. $8,875 for generator service and preventive maintenance by JSR Generator Services. $82,965.98 for the purchase of custodial equipment for the new middle school from Imperial Dade. The equipment includes a robotic scrubber, a disc scrubber, and a burnisher. $111,802.17 for security cameras and $35,143 for security camera licenses for the new middle school from I2 Security Solutions. $23,300 for snow removal equipment for the new middle school from Turf Equipment. Equipment includes a Ventrac tractor, broom attachment, and snow blower attachment. $25,651.08 for 3 Dell PowerEdge servers to be used for security at the new middle school from Dell Technologies. $31,795.78 for phone system equipment for the new middle school from E+ Technology. $256,463.80 for computer network infrastructure equipment for the new middle school from Presidio Networked Solutions. We recommended the following district contracts for approval. New contracts with the following. Visual sound for the purchase of 6 interactive projectors to be used in elementary classrooms for $36,939.70. Karen Anderson for nursing support services at a rate of $70 per hour and a not to exceed amount of $30,000. 2 license agreements with St. Joseph's University to use Hagan Arena for the Harriton High School and Lower Merion High School graduation ceremonies for $13,985.42 and $13,955.90 respectively. Renewals for the following contracts. Power School Performance Tracker for a 6-month extension to run in parallel as the district migrates to the new Illuminate platform for $17,254.92. Qualtrics survey software with analytics and dashboarding for $27,000. 2 renewals for the American Red Cross for $8,100 and $17,530 for student and staff certifications and recertifications. Amendments to the following contracts. An amendment to the contract with F. Tavani and Associates Traffic Engineers for their updated service rates ranging from $55 an hour to $127 per hour. An extension to the agreement with Mobile Mini through December 31st, 2021 to support ongoing storage of classroom furniture removed from schools to support COVID distancing for a not to exceed amount of $3,000. We recommended the following change orders for approval. Change orders related to the construction of the new middle school include $13,600 for Gessler Constructions for the removal of 18 trees at the construction site. $156,307.96 for IMC Constructions for the removal of excess regulated fill as opposed to the expected clean fill at the school construction site. $11,243.82 for IMC Construction for changes to the roof and roof drainage of the school building. $5,773.68 for IMC Construction for changes to the design of the main entrance canopy of the school. $65,815 for JVM Mechanical for the installation of bipolar ionization units in the school. Additional change orders, $18,800 for Gessler Construction for additional paving work in the parking lot at Penwyn Elementary. And then a reduction of $5,628.21 from Weatherproofing Technologies for unused supervision days during the masonry facade restoration at Penwyn Elementary. We also received an update on the construction of the new middle school. Construction work continues on schedule based on last month's updated project plan. All concrete slab pours are complete, as well as roofing in areas A, B, and C. Substantial interior and exterior work continues throughout all 4 areas A, B, C, and D. and the project manager expects the first areas to be available for IT work as early as mid-January 2022. Next Facilities and Purchasing Committee meeting will be on Thursday, October 14th, 2021 at 8:30 a.m.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. At this time, Ms. LaPera will open the chat feature and you'll see a 10-minute timer appear on your screen. Oh, I'm sorry, I should have said we're moving on to audience recognition. So Ms. LaPera will open the chat feature and you'll see a 10-minute timer appear on your screen. You can submit your comments and or questions via the chat feature. Please be sure to begin with your full name and where you reside within the district in order for your comment to be shared. And again, it just needs to be general neighborhood. It doesn't need to be a specific address. Ms. LaPera, do we have any in-person comments for tonight's meeting? There are no in-person comments today, so we will wait for our chat feature to, for comments to come in if they do through the chat.
Would you like Mr. Roos to start reading them?
So we still have a few minutes left where the chat feature will be open for public comment via Zoom, but we are going to start having Mr. Roos read the comments so far since we did not have any in-person comments.
Okay, can everyone hear me? Okay, first comment, Michelle McGill, Bala Kinwood. And unfortunately, there's no comment that goes with it. Probably later in the chat. Jill Altschuler of Marion Station. What is the status of incorporating African American history in the curriculum and diversity, equity, inclusion work in general in the district? Next comment, Christina Chang, Penn Valley. I see the expenses noted for the Lower Marion High School and Harriton High School graduations at St. Joe's. Given 8th grade did not invite parents to the promotion ceremony last year, and this year 4th and 5th grades may have a combined promotion ceremony, what can be planned in advance to allow for parents to attend in person this year? This question may seem premature, but the high school graduation expenses prompted this question as planning is best done early. Thank you. Next, Simi Hoke, Marion Station. The school district needs to move forward with later start times for students now. This issue cannot be forestalled any longer. Sleep is critical and essential to the health and well-being of our students. Next is Karen Averill, Bala Kinwood. I am wondering what the latest status is for later start times for high school students, given the link the district has made between lights at Arnold Field and the failure to approve this. Is there any chance that we can move forward with later start times for high school students despite the temporary failure with getting lights on Arnold Field? Since we all know the research is clear, our start times are not beneficial for learning and overall health for teens. Many thanks. Hadash Sheffer, Bala Kinwood. The stairways at Bala Kinwood Middle School are now back to being bi-directional, up and down, and our middle schoolers noted that they are crowded and students are not observing spacing. The principal emailed us that, quote, this is how it used to be before COVID, end quote. Since COVID is not yet over and most of our 6th graders cannot yet be vaccinated, we are asking for better mitigation in the stairwells, at least until vaccines are available for ages 5 to 11. Jessica Zimmerman, North Berth. Any insights regarding 8 COVID cases at LMHS, mostly juniors? Keep going.
I really don't have any specific information about those 8 cases. Mrs. Schaefer, do you have any? No?
Yeah, I do not have any further information about that this time.
Okay. Michelle McGill, she was the first person that identified herself. I believe she's at Bala Kinwood. Her comment is, thanks for all of the hard work this summer. It's nice seeing my son happy and enjoying school during these difficult times. He understands that he needs to adjust and make some changes for the safety and well-being of others. The next comment is a repeat commenter. Should I read it or no? No. The next first comment is from Tracy Bolton, Haverford, new to district in Pennsylvania from Berkeley, California. Wondering if there are opportunities for parents to have some involvement, participation in the district's diversity and inclusion work.
I would recommend for somebody like that they would perhaps begin with the CARE meetings. CARE meetings are the 3rd. I'm looking for help. October 27th. Is that the 3rd Wednesday?
Yes, I believe so.
third Wednesday of most months. That's what I meant, the fourth Wednesday in every month.
That concludes public comment, and that concludes the 10-minute period.
Sure. Yeah, so there's also an ad hoc committee on anti-racism, and the district is also undertaking an equity audit, a very extensive equity audit, and there will be opportunities for people in the community to share. They'll be having focus groups and so forth and so on. In terms of African American studies and literature, as we indicated in my State of the District report to the ISC, which I know a lot of people attended, we spoke about the new courses, we spoke about our equity work, and we spoke about our basic commitment in the areas of diversity and inclusion. And so we'll continue to speak on those issues. In terms of the late start times, we were really disappointed that there was not a better ruling. I think the board is evaluating its situation vis-a-vis the start times. I'll let Mr. Roos speak to that in terms of that happening. There's a number of folks who have indicated that the district should move ahead with later start times, even if the students at Lower Merion High School who participate in fall sports would have a more challenging experience. That's certainly their right to do that, and that will be the board's decision moving forward. Mr. Roos or Mrs. Klein, if you'd like to speak to the issue of, or somebody, or I can.
As far as the zoning hearing board decision with respect to the Arnold Fields lights, the district has options available to it, whether to appeal, not appeal, submit a new plan, but it's premature for me to publicly state which way the district plans to go.
Thank you for that. That's what I would have said.
I think the promotions, I think it is premature. I think if I had guessed about how we would have opened school this year, all of us at this table wearing a mask would not have been high up on my list of expectations, since we were in an area where we were mask optional for most of the summer. I'm hoping that we can get back to that place. I think that there's a real good chance once vaccines are made available to young children between the ages of 5 and 12, and we continue with the rate we're going. We've got about an 80 to 85% vaccination rate with our high school students. And I can assume that if the high school students are vaccinated, their parents are vaccinated. And so we're looking to do that. We also, after a lot of discussion at the Health and Safety Committee, made some recommendations. I think those recommendations on back-to-school nights went out this afternoon, which say that we're really pointing in an area of wanting some normalcy. And if we were holding those events now, I think we'd have a real good shot at having them in person. But just like back-to-school nights, where we know that if there's 20 children in a class and theoretically 40 parents showed up, the parents are going to be bigger than the kids, they're going to be closer together, and so we try to mitigation to say, please just send one parent and also do it virtually so that we can, while we're trying to balance coming back to school, stay safe at the same time.
Thank you. We will now, thank you, Mr. Roos. So we will now move forward with approving tonight's agenda via consent. Are there any questions from the board? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve tonight's agenda via consent?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Mr. Roos, can you please give us a report on the Sunshine Act?
Yes, the board met in executive session prior to this meeting tonight, September 20th, to discuss, among other things, land development litigation. And the other items were information session only.
Thank you. So we have upcoming board meetings. I want to share with you the dates and times. Our next two board meeting dates are at 8 p.m. here in the District Administration Office's boardroom. They are October 11th, which is the Education Committee and Supplementary Regular Board Meeting, and October 18th, the Regular Business Board Meeting, both of which will be held in person with opportunities to watch via live stream and Zoom. Our committee meetings that are upcoming will be held also in the boardroom here in person and start at 8:30 a.m. unless noted otherwise. At this time, the committee meetings will continue to be live streamed. On September 22nd is the Communications Committee meeting. That one is at 7 p.m. On October 6th is the Curriculum Committee meeting at 8:30 a.m. October 8th is the Policy Committee meeting here at 8:30 a.m. And October 14th is the Facilities and Purchasing Committee meeting, also at 8:30 a.m. I'd like to take a moment to remind everyone about the upcoming Committee for Special Education meeting. The CSE is sponsoring its first event of the year on September 28th, next Tuesday at 7:30 p.m., a webinar titled Collaboration on School Teams in Ways That Make a Difference. Information for this upcoming event can be found in your HSA newsletters and on the district website. And finally, I'll end by wishing everyone, I hope you all have a positive and informative back to school night at each of your schools over the next couple of weeks. And there being no further business, this meeting is adjourned.